All right, all right, all right. A special Wednesday edition of Stacking the Box. This is going to be about Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, the Cleveland Browns. My guy Randy Gurzy coming in from Dog Pound Daily, one of the finest places you can get Browns coverage in the whole damn land. And then, of course, listen to our loyal Stacking the Box people like you, Gonzo. I feel your pain. Trading guys like Tyreek Hill for draft picks in the middle of your Super Bowl window, that doesn't feel good. But let's go to Cleveland. Randy, thank you for making time. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, when did you get a sense that, wow, we're going after Deshaun Watson? This is a real damn thing. And then now, of course, we're well past him actually landing there and just kind of if you can try to like speak for Browns fans, Randy, no pressure here. Like this whole little journey to Deshaun, what's it been like?
I think it kind of happened real quick where, they kept saying Baker's our guy. And then just suddenly, the rumors that they were interested, they were doing their homework. And then out of nowhere, they were heading down to Houston. So we really just kind of found out then. Mary Kay Cabot was on it from the beginning, kind of saying what's going on. But yeah, Browns fans, I think, were a little bit in disbelief. They didn't want to believe that, Cleveland was going to turn on their guy and go pick up somebody who had a bunch of allegations against him.
So that's super interesting because I was doing a radio show in Chicago over the weekend, and I was talking about Deshaun at least for a brief point. And so some guy from Cleveland's driving through, listening, and he calls up. He's like, "Look, half the fans were pro Baker, half the fans were against Baker." It's just kind of an interesting call to take. In your the way you just said it, it seems like it was more universal. Like, hey man, Baker took us out of the doldrums. We hadn't won a football game in 2 years basically before he came, and we've won a playoff game with him this year. And now, we're saying goodbye. But I never really got the sense that Browns fans were in love with Baker because let's be real. I mean, Baker is not Deshaun Watson on the field.
No, and I think you're right, though. I think it was split. I think even those that weren't 100% behind Baker thought that the team was being sincere and saying that they were behind him. But there was definitely a split. You got people that they were calling the Baker Bros who were 100% in love with him and felt like he could do no wrong. And then you have those that are saying, yeah, hey, he's improved the team, but got enough talent around us that we want to be better.
I mean, how much is this on the Browns organization with how the Baker tenure went? You're talking about 4 different head coaches in 4 years. I mean, that's hard for Joe Montana, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely think that there's some of the onus falls on the ownership for not having that stability. I believe they have it now. I feel like Stefanski's kind of the guy, but I think Baker was just never his guy. He wasn't picked by Andrew Berry. He wasn't picked by Stefanski. And when he didn't make a leap in year 2 in that system, I think it kind of sealed his fate.
Okay. So what percentage, Randy, of I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. He ain't going anywhere. He's got 5 years guaranteed. But what's the percentage in your mind in Cleveland right now who's excited that Deshaun Watson's your quarterback?
I think it's probably closer to 60% excited. The loud ones are definitely – the upset ones, I should say, are the loud ones. They're letting their voice be heard. But I do think, from a lot of the polls that I've seen going out there, it seems like probably 55, 60% are excited about what's going to happen on the football field.
Do you draw a direct line between Rusty Hardin representing your owner, Jimmy Haslam, back in his Flying J trucking day scandals to the fact that Rusty's representing Deshaun? And I don't know, look, when you read how this whole thing went down, Deshaun's not interested in Cleveland, then all of a sudden he is interested in Cleveland. What the hell happened in that time frame? I don't exactly know, but I do wonder about the relationship of Rusty Hardin in this whole thing.
Yeah, I think that gave the Browns kind of an inside track to know. They say they did their homework. I know they never spoke with with Tony Busby about any of the complainants, but I feel like maybe they've got what they needed to know from Harden, who obviously knows a lot about what Watson's been accused of, knows what's going on behind the scenes, and so yeah, I think that helped on Cleveland's point of view. I don't know if it helped with Watson. I think the fully guaranteed contract and the fact that Atlanta wasn't given what he wanted is what pushed him towards Cleveland more than anything.
Some people think that the Browns actually underpaid, that that Houston didn't have a whole lot of leverage. He was only willing to go to Cleveland. I look at it like, are you kidding? I mean,
Yeah.
that's 5 picks, 3 first-round draft picks. Seems steep, but like some people thought that even players should be going in the deal. What was your reaction to the actual trade compensation?
I was surprised that there wasn't any second round picks thrown in there as well. I thought there'd be, the 3 first and maybe a second. So I do think it's a fair package, but I did think that Houston might have gotten a little more. I wasn't shocked about the players. I was hearing all along that Houston didn't want any players, that they were, they're stockpiling picks. I don't think that they're expecting to do anything this year. I think they're trying to clear the books, get a whole bunch of picks, and reload for 23.
So what happens with Baker?
Man, if you'd asked me a week ago, I probably would have said he's going to Indy or something like that. But it seems like you're hearing more teams are just not interested in him. I feel like his best bets right now would be, I was thinking of Carolina, but they're not interested. Perhaps a Seattle, but I mean, in Atlanta, they're going with Mariota. So I don't know if Cleveland's going to just have to hold on to him, try to be patient, see if there's an injury or something that happens that all of a sudden bumps his price up.
I mean, this is some serious humble pie for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Am I muted? I shouldn't be muted. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I got you.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Let me rewind back to what I was saying. I mean, it's just serious humble pie. Hey,
Yeah.
we're going after Deshaun. Don't care. 22 lawsuits, whatever the negativity is going to be when we make the trade, we're ready to handle that. Football fans are football fans. All they care about is winning at the end of the day, and this dude's going to help us win more than you're going to help us win. And you can request all the trades you want. We're trying to trade you, and nobody wants to trade for you and give you a chance to start. I listen, like I mean, Baker's he's been always believed in himself guy. So I mean, I don't know exactly what response I'm looking for here, Randy, but this is a tough time for him in his career.
It is, but I think he can do himself some favors, and he already has. I heard that today. I read that he's started to work with a quarterback coach, which is something a couple of years ago he said he didn't see any need for doing. So maybe it was a little bit of humble pie for him, and now he's realizing, hey, I got to get back to the basics, work on some fundamentals, get a little bit better, and just prepare for my next shot. So hopefully he can do that, because a lot of fans are kicking him out the door, and I don't see any need for that. He gave all he had to the team, and I wish him success wherever he ends up.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, look, as we mentioned, 4 head coaches, 4 years. The Browns hadn't won a football game in over, I think it's 635 days.
Yeah,
before he comes in, he wins, his first game in the uniform. And then you win a playoff game. So I don't think you can look at his tenure there as unsuccessful. But I also get that you're trying to win a Super Bowl in a very competitive AFC, and they felt like they needed Deshaun. What do you think of this stat? And hey, Gonzo, I'm throwing this out at you too, buddy. I'll throw trivia to you, Randy.
All
Baker
right.
Mayfield, I don't know how much you're maybe you've read the same article, but I have it for you. Baker Mayfield will become just the 3rd quarterback in NFL history to go number 1 overall in the draft and last 4 or fewer seasons with the team that drafted him. This is an ESPN Stats and Information one. So he joins which 2 quarterbacks who went number 1 overall and didn't make it past year 4? One of them was had a credible career. The other, not so much.
Man, I have no idea. I didn't see that one.
Okay. Any guesses in the chat here? I welcome it. One was a Raider, and he had serious issues. That is correct.
I didn't know that one.
on the private chat is Jamarcus Russell. The other had a good career, bounced around a ton, super talented, but it was Jeff George with Indianapolis. So, if you were to bet on where Baker's going to go, I would think it'd be more of the Jeff George career than Jamarcus Russell, because Baker does have talent. But I don't know what if you had to predict what the future looks for Baker in the league, what the level of success you prognosticating?
I think you're right that he'd be closer to a Jeff George. I think he could still have a good career if he gets in the right team and the right system. Somebody that's patient with him. But yeah, first you got to see a landing spot. But I would say I've always said all along his ceiling is like a Kirk Cousins, and I think some people think that's an insult, but I don't think it is. I think serviceable starter. I think he could be that.
Right, and hey, Kirk just got paid again. Our guy Sean Daly is asking, does this mean no more commercials? I mean, he's locked out of the stadium for real now.
I saw a meme where it was him and Emily sitting in the stands, and instead of the Progressive commercial, they replaced it with House Hunters. So maybe there'll be something with that.
Hey, jump on in if you people know who Baker is. Maybe it's worth a little investment on the House Hunter side.
There you go.
So what do you think we're looking at receiver wise for the Browns? Who's Deshaun going to be throwing the ball to? I mean, Odell gone, Jarvis gone, but now I don't know. Maybe they bring Odell back. He's out there.
Yeah, he said he wants to come back. I know you got Amari Cooper in there. Donovan Peoples-Jones wasn't bad in his second year, almost had 600 yards. But I know there's mutual interest between the Browns and Will Fuller, who was with Deshaun in Houston, so that could be a good fit there. Also, I wouldn't rule out a wide receiver at 44 in the draft. This year it's pretty loaded in the draft, so you could still get a guy who's probably got first round talent around then.
Would you do look at the wide receiver right now position, even with Amari? But I mean, it's really kind of sort of just Amari, at least on the elite end. Do you look at it as a supreme weakness right now on the roster, or do other areas concern you more?
Right now, I would think a couple other areas concern me a little more. Defensive tackle, you really don't have a lot there. And defensive end, I know they just picked up Chase Winovich, but they really don't have a solid starter across from Myles Garrett. So I think it's a need, but I don't know that it's the most dire. I think they still need to address a couple other areas as well.
So we were arguing this yesterday on Stacking the Box with Matt Verderam about whether or not the Browns defense, like where it falls in your mind, at least, Randy. I was saying this is an above average defense, and basically Verderam looked at me like I was nuts. Maybe I had him even closer to top 8 in the league. How do you look at the defense?
Yeah, I'd say they're above average, maybe top 15. They had their moments last year where they really played well, and they had some moments where they're susceptible to, especially with tight ends beating them over the middle of the field. They don't have great linebackers. Maybe JOK does a little, he was coming on really strong at the end of the year, so he might help a lot. But I'd say they're, I'd say top 15, and then depending on what they do, if they can get themselves another pass rusher, bring back to Jadeveon Clowney, maybe they can get a little bit better even.
Let's go back to quarterback in history of Browns QBs. Deshaun Watson, fill in the blank here, Randy, is the best Browns quarterback since?
Bernie Kosar.
Okay.
I would go there.
That's where I figured you'd go. But if you look at talent-wise, that's not even close, right? I mean, but Bernie had a good career.
Yeah.
So that's a long time. Yeah. It's a long time between level.
Yeah, the 90s. Early 90s.
I mean, we're at a 30-year run here. So yep. What's fair expectations then, Randy? What do you think's fair expectations for the Browns 2022?
It's going to be tough because you already mentioned earlier the AFC stacked. The AFC North is stacked. You got the Bengals who are a block away from winning the Super Bowl. Ravens, you can't overlook them. Steelers still. I mean, I know Mitch Trubisky can be a downgrade from Ben Roethlisberger, but Ben wasn't playing great at the end of his career, and they're still winning. So I think, the goal could – and it also depends on if Deshaun Watson gets suspended. He could be missing 6 games. So I think high-end be looking about 10 wins if things can go their way. Do
you see Baker as a fit with Pittsburgh?
As a trade with Pittsburgh?
Mm-hmm. Would they ever do that?
I don't know. I think, you have to – I am starting to wonder if they're going to get desperate enough if nobody else wants them, and the Steelers are the only ones that offer a trade. I mean, it's rare, but we've seen it before. Drew Bledsoe, Donovan McNabb. We've seen in division trades, so I wouldn't rule it out if that's the only team that offers anything.
I mean, if the Browns think he sucks, sure, go ahead, Pittsburgh. You can have him, but give us whatever you.
Exactly.
That would be
great.
That'd be awesome. That would be so awesome. Let's go. Yeah. Baker to Pittsburgh would kind of be rough for my guy Mitch Trubisky, but hey, that's the way things go in life. And maybe they would say you'll compete with Baker.
There you go.
And maybe Mitch would win out. I highly doubt it. But there is a little bit of rumblings with Pittsburgh and Baker. So I don't know
I've heard
how
that.
you read it.
It would be a great storyline. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but so would you want to see it?
I think I would. I think deep down, I think I'd kind of enjoy it. It'd be fun. Get a little rivalry going.
It'd be good for Dog Pound Daily, but like as strictly as a Browns fan, would you want it?
As a Browns fan, no. Like I said, I do root for Baker, and I want to see him successful. And if he did go to Pittsburgh, while I think it'd be fun to have that rivalry, I wouldn't be able to wish him any success there.
Handicap the division right now, Randy.
As far as who's going to win,
if you had 1 through 4, let's go.
I think it's still got to be 1 as Cincinnati till they can proven otherwise. I would put Cleveland at 2 right now with Deshaun, and then Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
You put Baltimore 3, Pittsburgh 4. Okay. I wonder if the Bengals are going to build on last year. That's it was an amazing season. I'm not trying to take anything away from Cincinnati, but I do wonder. I mean, it's the unknown is how long is Watson going to sit out, and which is super interesting on the other side. Like, okay, hey Baker, this dude's going to be gone for 6 games. We're hearing. We want you to start these 6, and then we want you to be a good teammate, and then you can go be a free agent and get paid. I don't think it's going to go down that way, but that's one that they could. You're shaking your head.
I'd say honestly, that'd be the best thing for him. I know they picked up Jacoby Brissett, who is a very solid backup, but the best thing for Baker would be to just be a good teammate. If you get to play for 6 games or so, go out there and show what you can do when you're healthy.
Yeah, I think that's a fair guess as to how long Deshaun's going to be out. The thing that bothered me most about the deal, Randy, before we get on out of here, is, and I think it bothered a lot of people, they did everything they possibly could to minimize the financial impact on Deshaun. And that's just, it's one thing like second chances in life, but and he's paid a price. I'm not saying he hasn't. He didn't play football all of last season. But as far as a financial price, he hasn't.
No.
At all. And that tends to, at least for all of us, it hurts the most, at least for a short impact. I'm not that he doesn't have enough money. I'm not his accountant, but I would think that he's got enough dough saved over there that his lifestyle is pretty significant. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I read about that possibly having ripple effects for some of the other NFL owners and GMs are not exactly thrilled with it. I feel like Tom Brady did something similar. The Patriots did something similar with Brady when he was for the 4 games with the deflate gate. So it's not unprecedented, but I think Cleveland did take it to quite an extreme when you talk about a contract that's paying over $45 million a year and it's $1 million that first year. That's unheard of.
We're also talking about deflating footballs versus what Watson's being accused. So there is a different level there.
That's true.
And I'm sure the Patriots were involved in the deflation of those footballs. And but somehow we just like to celebrate it. That if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's a story for another podcast.
That's right.
Randy, good stuff. Great work at Dog Pound Daily. The Browns are going to be a hot place to be 2022 and going forward here for a while. So I'm picking you to win the division.
All right.
That's where I'm at. I think Deshaun is going to have an enormous season, and I don't know. I guess I'm betting on your ability to fill out the roster, which is a little bit dicey. Let me just wrap up with this. Jimmy Haslam, the Browns fans' opinion of their owner. How would you surmise that at this particular point in time? It's been a decade now, but this is a huge lean in. Go ahead.
I don't think he's the most popular guy. I think people grew really tired of him being so impatient and firing one coach after another, and then there's a good bit of fan base that might have still had some faith in him that's really upset over the Deshaun Watson hiring as well. So I think his approval rating is a little low right now.
Okay.
But hey, if they start winning cures all. So. They have a big season. We could do. You might need to ask again.
It does, and we spent. Fanside came out when we made the Browns our fandom of the year, and we did the parking lot. What's that parking lot called?
The Muni parking lot.
Yeah, the Muni parking lot. We met some dude out there who you probably know the name of that I'm forgetting. If Hunter's still in there watching this, he might remember his name. This dude I don't think he's been sober in 30 years, and neither did anyone else in that parking lot seem like I don't know. That was an unbelievable collection of football fans. So
Just
congratulations.
miles and miles of partying.
Miles and miles of partying with
Yep.
their buses and it was something. Randy, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Continued success to you guys over there at Dog Pound Daily. Thanks for being on Stacking the Box.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Hey, appreciate everybody checking it out. Hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on, and we're back next Tuesday with Matt Verderam. Hopefully, if he doesn't end his football life after Tyreek Hill got traded to the Dolphins. We'll see you next time.